Now let's go live to our Abuja studios, where we're now being joined on the news at 10 by Mr. Udo Jude Ilo, a lawyer and the head of the Nigerian office for the Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA, to look at some of the fallouts from the suspension of Justice Walter Onnoghen as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Great to have you on the news at 10.
Thank you very much.
Now, since Friday, when that announcement was made, there's been a barrage of reactions from lawyers to politicians, civil society groups, and even students. Now, are you surprised by the amount of reaction this issue has generated?
No, I'm not surprised. Most times we fail to understand the growing sophistication of the Nigerian population and the growing interest we have in the way and manner we're being governed. So I'm not really surprised about the very passionate reaction that has met the actions taken by the president last week. And the point to make is that this gives us a lot of reasons to worry, given the fact that these acts are coming few weeks to the election. It is really difficult for most Nigerians, including myself, to disassociate what has happened with the larger question about the election. So a lot of people are seeing a nexus between this and the election. People are seeing it as something calculated, perhaps, to undermine the way the election may or may not go. So it is really difficult for people to keep quiet, because we know that where we are right now is a situation where a lot of Nigerians who want to exercise their power, of their vote. And they will want to do that with the understanding that if something goes wrong, the judiciary should be in a position to provide impartial arbitration on those conflicts. So people are really worried. So I am very much excited, by the way, the reaction from Nigerians across the divide.
Definitely, and people are not keeping quiet. We saw a series of protests in the nation's capital, Abuja, today, as well as other parts of the country. Also, the body of lawyers, NBA, has directed its members to stay away from the courts for 2 days at least. So how do you see this playing out?
First of all, we have to accept the fact that these are very grave times for our country. We are actually in the middle of a constitutional crisis, and this is coming few weeks to our general election. The way I see this, we need to find a solution. We need to find a middle ground as quickly as possible. Because one, the international community is looking at us. People are nervous within the country how this is going to pan out. The fact of the matter is that the three arms of government in Nigeria are equal before the law. And we're seeing a situation whereby the Chief Justice of Nigeria has been suspended by the president in an action that most people have come to realize falls short of the constitutional requirements. So we're in a crisis. We're in a crisis because the judiciary plays a very fundamental role in election. When you look at the threshold and benchmark for credible election, the independence of the judiciary counts amongst the fundamental points that needs to be in place for elections to be credible, free, and fair. So here we're in a situation where we're going into this election with a judiciary that is badly battered, credibility is gravely undermined, and an executive that is showing a bit of recklessness that is capable of undermining the democracy we've so much valued. So for me, I think one or two things will happen. One is that we're all looking with expectation on what the NJC is going to say tomorrow regarding what's happened. We also understand that the Senate has gone to court questioning the constitutionality of the steps taken by the president. And these two incidents, that is the action by the Senate and of course the meeting tomorrow by the NJC, is going to at least give us an idea of the possibility that are before us. But my hope is that the NJC is able to call the president to order, is able to call the Chief Justice to order, and of course also call to order the purported acting Chief Justice of the country. I think that the ideal situation for me is to see that the two principal participants in this crisis, the CJN and Justice Tanko Mohammed, should at least step aside while we get, while we're able to resolve the crisis that we're facing. And I'm also hoping that the NJC should pass a very strong message to the president that in this democracy that we've paid for with blood, actions like this cannot be tolerated and cannot be allowed.
Well, most of those that have spoken on the president's actions have cited the legality or illegality, as the case may be. As a lawyer, what's your own understanding of the law on this subject?
I mean, the constitution of this country is the grand norm, is the grandfather of all laws. It's from that constitution that every other agency of government, every activity of government derives its legitimacy. And looking at the Constitution, precisely Section 292 of the Constitution, there is no way I have seen, neither in the Constitution or the schedule to the Constitution, where the president can claim that he borrowed the powers to do what he has done. I think the action is totally unconstitutional and quite despotic. I don't think there is any way we can, frame this lightly. It is an aberration of the Constitution and one that is capable of undermining or irreparably damaging our democracy. So that is my position. And it is not just about the law. The timing, the optics of it, leaves a lot to be desired. These filings by the CJN were done, I understand, more than 3 years ago. And it's quite curious that we are talking about those filings, trying to suspend the CJN some weeks to the election. And let us not also run away from the fact that the CJN will be the one to constitute the panel to look at any election petition that might come up in the presidential election. So it smells bad any way you may look at it. From the political angle, it smells bad. From the constitutional angle, it smells bad. And from the basis of decency and respect for the people of Nigeria and for the democracy we have so much, sacrificed for, I think this is a terrible mistake by the president.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jude Ilo, a legal practitioner, for sharing your thoughts with us on the News at 10.